right, I am working on the next section, and this one will help me when I combine it with this section. When these two go together like this, it will create basically the corner for, basically a corner of the block. So these two will go together, which will be great. But since it's all little triangles, I start out typically when we do foundation piecing, we will do rectangles or squares just because it's easier to line up. And it does promote a little bit more waste, but it provides more accuracy and less guessing and definitely less cursing and seam ripping. But when you're dealing with a right triangle here, you can actually get away with cutting them in half. So that is what I've done here. I've basically cut it on once on the diagonal, and it allows me to easily work with those here. So in this case, we work this just like we do the other times. We're going to put the first piece on for E1, and we've pre-folded to make sure that we can guess well where we go, and I kind of line it up on this side and make sure that I've got about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and I'm lined up here for about 1/4 of an inch. And now I'll quickly go press this, but you can see I've got plenty of extra here, and I oversized them, which again, for some may feel like a little waste of fabric. For me, it provides a little accuracy, and I would rather be accurate than cursing and screaming as I make this. So I pressed this piece on here, and I am going to do my E2 piece next, which this is where you've got to watch a little carefully when you're putting your triangles on, because you may be tempted, when you're like this, you may be tempted to put this piece on like this, in which case when it flips over, it will be completely in the wrong direction. So when you put your pieces on, make sure you're watching this line here. And so that's the line I want, right? I want it to be up and down there. So I'm going to be giving a little extra here just to line it up there. I'll line these two up, and then I'll sew them together. So this is section E for the block. And I'll sew these together. Like so. And now what I'm going to do is open this up like this, and I'm going to go press this down so that this stays put. Okay, now I'm going to do this next piece here for E3, and we will want to make sure that we trim it. I'm pretty close to 1/4 of an inch there, but I'm going to trim it real quickly. So I've trimmed it. I've gotten rid of my tail here, and as you can see, it was really quite close to begin with. So now we'll put on the second piece here. And again, lining this up, as you can see here, I'm going to make sure that our line, align the edges here, and I make sure that my triangle is going the same direction. Okay, we're going to fold it open like so. I'll finger press this, and then I'm going to press it so it'll stick to the freezer paper. Now I've got it all stuck here, and we'll fold this piece over like so. Peel it off a little bit. Fold it right here. And now we're going to trim this down to 1/4 of an inch from here. Okay, we've trimmed it up here. And just in case you're curious, this is a fresh sheet I've used. I was able to use the previous sheet right here. Let's see, I used it 24 times before it finally was like, okay, we've built up enough lint on the backside that getting it to be sticky was getting to be a bit more challenging. So, you can use these over and over and over again until the stick really doesn't stick anymore. Okay, I'm going to do this side here. And I am making 48 of these, so I am making a lot of these. So I'm going to press this over here. I'm going to quickly make sure that we tack this down, because then we're going to trim it up. Alrighty, so we have definitely, as you can see, Made sure that that freezer paper is nice and tight. Again, line it up with my 1/4 inch on my marked seam allowance right here. That makes sure that, you know, no matter how badly I trim, if I happen to cut the piece a little bit, it's not, it has the right seam allowance on it, so everything will match up later. This one's much easier to trim than the last one was. And there we go. So this is all trimmed up with the exception of these edges here. Like I said, these are used to help you match them later and know where to aim your seams. Trim these up like this, and voila, we will peel it off. There we go. Peel this off and put this on our pile and get ready to use this one again. So stay tuned for the putting the block together, and that'll be our next video.